My name is Hoshi Gaswala. I work with Business World. Welcome to the Master Strokes series. Very quickly at Master Strokes, this is season 1, episode 4. We speak to leaders who've been involved in business transformation and who continue to work on business transformation, helping enterprises, touching consumers, changing lives. Today, I'm happy to have with me the CTO of IBM, Geeta Gurnani. Geeta, thank you for being here. And the CTO of Vodafone, VI, Jagdeep Singh. Thank you, sir. Thank you for making it. The last 3 episodes that we did were with the BFSI segment. Happy to have you first for the telecom part of it. So 5G has been recently announced. The Prime Minister says that, and my first question will be to you, 130 crore people have been touched with it. 5G is truly significant. It is bringing a lot of difference to enterprises' lives as we envisage it. I'm yet to experience it, but it's supposed to bring in a lot of revolutionary changes. I'd like to understand from you, Mr. Singh, how is 5G going to change India in terms of organizations, the way they work, the enterprises, and consumer lives?
Okay, thank you. So I think first let me tell you that 5G is little different than the erstwhile 2G, 3G and 4G. And there are 2 differences. Number one is it is actually more focused toward the enterprise, of course for the consumer, but I think this is the first time any wireless technology which has come is focusing more on enterprise side. Second difference is that 5G is actually, I always say that it's a platform. So it's not only a technology or the putting the like wireless networks, but actually it's a platform which is giving the opportunities for many of the vendor partners and overall ecosystem where they can come and start developing their use case and applications. And if you see what the 5G brings, if we talk about the consumer, I think consumer for sure, like of course everybody needs the high speed, so it gives you very high speed, much more than the 4G. At the same time, this speed is also going to help in watching like any application which needs high speed like 4K, 8K video. In addition to that, AR, VR, in addition to that, surveillance, in addition to that, there could be any health application. But the another important thing from the consumer point of view is latency, we call it, the delay in the whatever you do. So the latency is very, very, like theoretically it's a 1 millisecond. So it's like a very good for the cloud kind of application. So for example, you want to offer to the consumer the cloud gaming. The gaming used to be part of the console, everything, hard drive, everything used to be at home with you, but now you can actually host all the games in the cloud and you can still get the same experience, because now what you get is low latency, you get high speed, which are the 2, I would say the ingredient to provide seamless experience for the high speed kind of applications. So this is from the enterprise point of view, this platform is providing that. Coming to the enterprise, in addition to what is being talked, low latency, etc., I think we all know that IoT, machine to machine, and going forward, private networks for the enterprise are being talked very heavily, and this is going to enable the enterprises to have their own private networks for their own automation, own any good security surveillance kind of requirements. In addition to this, in fact, the enterprise also can look at doing the drone kind of application, factory automation, plant automation, providing the multiple sensors. Like if you go to the factory environment, you will have the hundreds and thousands of machines and sensors in a given closed environment, and all that can be connected without any wire on 5G wirelessly with the minimum latency, almost no latency, and at the same time sort of unlimited devices could be there in a given small area. So I think it is providing, this platform of 5G is providing the opportunity for the enterprise as well as for the consumer. The only thing is everything looks good as of now. A lot of work to be done by the industry, by the partners. in this platform, as I said, everyone has to come together, whether it's like a software industry or it is like application developers, could be the device guy, could be the vendors, equipment supplier, operators. We all need to work to ensure that we are coming out with some sort of near to the killer app where it makes sense to actually serve the customer, whether it's enterprise or consumer, and in return we make money. So I think it's a good opportunity, and I'm sure like there's a big focus after Prime Minister's launch in IMC, and everybody is supporting the whole ecosystem, whole industry is working towards finding out like rolling out 5G as well as finding out the use cases which make sense for the consumer and enterprise.
Thank you, sir. So what are the new business offerings that you envisage for business beyond the traditional telco offerings?
I think what we say is, as I said, it's a platform. It's not just giving the connectivity which has been in the past in the 2G, 3G, 4G. And on this platform, you can have the B2B and B2C applications and the services, which could be like I would say, which were not there on earlier wireless technologies. And this platform is enabling, for example, video surveillance, for example, remote health. So, having the doctors in the urban areas and then supporting to the rural areas in real time basis, including the application like surgery, and having the like remote agriculture, having the supporting all the drones logistic. If you have so many drones floating in the air, then actually controlling them, 5G will be the good technology actually to provide that. Then the education, then like all these applications are beyond the connectivity and they are the telco plus. So they were not there earlier. Now it's opportunity. I think everyone is working together. I'm sure one day we'll come out with a matured application which are being used at the mass scale, and they are giving the reliability, they are scalable. At the same time, both enterprise and the consumers are getting benefited.
IBM has been working with the telecom sector across the world, doing a lot of work. What sort of technologies are you all investing in, and what are you all doing in this sector, to have a better future, a more connected world?
Sure, and I think as you've already pointed out that IBM has been partnering, and I think IBM always been at the forefront of telco revolution or evolution as we call it, be it India, be it across the globe in US, UK, Africa. We've been working with many telcos across many countries, right? But I think just taking a clue from where Jagbir just spoke about, that with the new technologies coming in and with 5G coming in, which really will give a lot more opportunity across industries to work. I think how we are working at IBM just to enable this ecosystem or enable this 5G platform, essentially investing into 3 areas big time. One is people, because having skilled workforce is very important. So what we are doing at IBM is that since 5G is not purely about telco, it's about the other industry experiences, be it manufacturing, be it healthcare, be it education, right? So we are creating a skilled workforce which will also allow us to take some expertise from our manufacturing, from our healthcare team, and work alongside our telco experts to create these offerings and offer that kind of an expertise to the customers. The good part is that since we are global players, we have seen this work and have done this work with many telcos globally who are a little bit ahead in their 5G journey. And now we are bringing that whole expertise to India so that we can expedite the whole go-to market. So that's the first aspect, which is about people. The second is about partnerships, right? Because as Jagbir also alluded to, saying that the ecosystem will play an important role, because video surveillance will be offered by some other vendor or a partner, or you will have a healthcare provider who will be somebody else who will bring that whole doctor's expertise and the healthcare expertise part of it. So we are also investing into partnerships to really bring the ecosystem together. Now that partnership is on one hand with the many ISVs, as we call them, who bring their products which are suitable and which need 5G kind of an network. We are also partnering with OEMs and more importantly like NEPs, which play a very critical role in telco like Ericsson's and Nokia's of the world. So the second pillar IBM investing is into the partnerships. The third thing I think which goes without saying, but technology being at the heart of everything, that how we are really investing in technology, and I think we have made some significant progress in network side around how do you manage network using AI. So the whole AI network management part of it, and how do we really optimize whole IT is what we've been really investing from a technology perspective from a telco part. And just to demonstrate the power of 5G, we have actually invested in many labs across the globe where customers can come, touch and feel the 5G use cases which we are talking about. And we are fortunate enough that one of them is in Bangalore, where you can come and see that how the 5G use cases will work. And obviously I'll invite Jagbir and you both to come Bangalore and just experience that. So in summary, I think as a company we are investing people, partnerships and technology part of it.
Jagbir sir, what role has technology played in your organization through all these changes, and what are the key initiatives that technology initiatives that you are planning in the near future?
Okay, I think since 5G also needs to have a lot of change in the way we work, the process we have, both in terms of the IT as well as the network side. So what we are doing is right now we are actually working on in advance to ensure that we are having the infrastructure which is capable of delivering the 5G use cases and the services in the most effective way. So for example, the deployment of the cloud is one area where we are ensuring that all the core network is being deployed on the cloud. Second is automation. So we are working with companies like IBM, Kyndryl, we are doing a lot of automations of the network in terms of the operations, also to get the insight about the customers' applications and the services where, we get to know what kind of services, the experience we are offering, so we can proactively actually correct the things and offer the better experience for our customers. Then we are working towards actually just to ensure that, the architecture and design of the IT platform especially is sort of transformed to support the 5G and going forward the new applications and the use cases. So there we are working again with the partner like IBM to ensure that we are able to transform the current IT platform to meet the requirement of the future. We are also working to ensure that we have systems and the processes automated, so on the fly we can do like a service provisioning or offering any service to our customers. So I think these are the initiatives which need to be done in advance, or the parallelly we need to ensure as the networks are going to be rolled out that we are ready from the application, IT and the infrastructure point of view, which is the most efficient to meet the demand of the 5G use cases and the services.
Thank you, sir. Geeta, with the Red Hat acquisition, which is the acquisition of the largest open source technology organization in the world that IBM did, how is IBM helping VIL with this open source?
Great. I think Red Hat, of course, it's a very common question I am asked for, because it's one acquisition probably which has given, I think, very key tenets of this new age cloud, what we call, right? And those three tenets are open, scalable and AI infused, because with these three tenets what Red Hat brings in, we are really able to help our customers around having a very flexible, scalable and manageable infrastructure, right? Coming to VIL, and I think I must say that VIL has been really pioneer and leader in adoption of Red Hat. I think they adopted Red Hat much before then everybody adopted at the scale and at the enterprise level. And I think today if we see we have Red Hat OpenShift, which is deployed in the 4G network of VIL. They have adopted Red Hat operating system as the default OS for most of their application to gain that flexibility what Jagbir was speaking about. And also they using Red Hat Ancillary, the product which allows them to do the automation of almost 8,000 plus services, right? So I would say that Vodafone is much ahead on their journey, and our partnership on the Red Hat front is pretty great. And I do see in future this continuing, because as they will have more ecosystem coming in, there will be heterogeneous environments, there will be hybrid environments. So we will be working from an open source standpoint and providing that hybrid infrastructure management to Vodafone, and we do believe that we will have a great partnership coming in the area of overall 5G led whole digital transformation, be it AI ops or be it edge computing, as Jagbir spoke about a lot of IoT and M2M use cases, right? So a great partnership so far, and I think I do believe that in future we'll continue to work deeper on the open source standpoint.
Let's also ask him. So how do you see open technology penetrating your networks at VIL, and what are the future plans with open technology?
Okay, so let me take this. Why do we need open technology? Why do we need cloud? Basically, Red Hat is the open source cloud, where we take the advantage of being open. So anybody can come and put their workload, we call it in IT language, or we can say that network functions. So we have been actually one of the first to deploy Red Hat around 4 years back. So today we run the Red Hat open source for we call it voice over LTE VoLTE in 4G. So all the voice call actually they go on the Red Hat open source cloud. We have deployed for the packet core for the internet traffic. We have deployed for the signaling network. So it is there. In addition to this, yes, we have the customized also, but most of the open source is available with us. Now, what it promise, and so here I will have little, maybe difference of opinion, but what it promise is cloud open source is supposed to be the cheaper. It is supposed to be simple, supposed to be agile, supposed to be scalable, flexible. I think I would say the agility, flexibility and the scalability, no issues. But at the same time, what it brings is the challenge of, little complex. We don't have that much, skill set available still. And it's not only for the Vodafone idea. I think it's a whole industry, and not even India, even outside India. So cloud, the growth has been very fast. So to ensure that at the same time you have the right skill set available is a big challenge. Second is the promises of making more cost effective. Maybe it is true partially, but not fully. And especially it is true for the core. So we in network side or IT side, the platforms, what we have is, we have the core network, we have the edge, and then we have the access like Open RAN or the virtual RAN. Core network, we have been deployed cloud for 4 years and mostly on the open source. Only thing it needs is when we bring the software from the Ericsson, Nokia or Cisco and these kind of vendors, I think what IBM need to do is having the close coordination with these kind of partners, so they have no problem in deploying their softwares on the Red Hat open source cloud. So sometimes it works fine, sometimes it's still challenge. So, but overall basis, I would say that in core network, the open source cloud works very fine. I think edge side is a lot of hype and a lot of promises, but I haven't seen the much action even outside India, where the 5G is already 2-3 years working. Moving very slow, so there could be some scenarios for the enterprise, and there could be some application which needs the edge cloud, but I think it's moving slow. Coming to the access, which is actually in the form of open source, we may call it for the Open RAN or the virtual RAN. I think there again the challenge is the cloud providers and the functional expertise providers or the software providers like who bring the RAN expertise and their softwares, they need to work closely. And the promise of being simple, being cheaper, I think is still far. So it's a mixed story into the access. Core is clear, edge is also mixed, and access is a big challenge.
Thank you, sir. So you've been at the cutting edge of technology through your life, bringing change, innovation, adding value all the time. What is your leadership advice to organizations? How should they adopt a culture of innovation and stay ahead? And what is your own personal leadership mantra?
Okay, so first let me start from the personal leadership mantra. Do anything and everything from heart. Own it and do it. The way we do at home, same thing, our life goes mostly in office. Better you enjoy, and you will enjoy when you own it. So I do everything what is given to me from my heart with the full passion and full emotions. And when you own it, then you don't feel like that you are different at home and different at office. So that is my personal style of working on the leadership. And coming to, I think, going forward, how do we ensure the innovative culture and, giving the flexibility, empower the people, first thing. People should not be afraid of, or shying away or doing anything new. And nobody knows everything. Be open. Try to work with all the vendor partners or any startup or anybody for that matter who's actually good at something. So I think try to have the collective approach to learn and give the open environment. That's how you can be innovative. That's how you can be relevant to the future. And the last thing I would say is always have the hunger and passion. Without hunger and passion, you can't innovate anything. You can't do anything new and differently. So always be hungry in life as long as you are there for everything, whatever you enjoy. So I think that's how.
Brings me to the end of my questions. I'd just like to sum up by saying that 5G is here, it's here to stay. And what I've learned from my guests here is, and very valid, that the entire ecosystem will have to come together to really benefit and take full advantage of the new technology that's available. Open source is here, it's very active in this space. Thank you, Jagvir sir, thank you, Geeta ma'am, very kind of both of you to take the time to join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
Yeah.
Thank you.